Hey everybody, the Modern Native here. Talked about it repeatedly now. There's been requests for it, so I'm going to do my sharpening video and show you guys my kit. What I have here is I have a sharpening puck, coarse and smooth, with its own cloth here. And I use this for my hatchet. Sitting right here next to the creek, so I'm setting it in the shallow water because the rain and the flooding now lost like 3 feet of the bank, so now there's this much water sitting all the way up. But in another cloth drawstring bag, I have coarse, medium, and fine. This is polishing stone. This is the medium work when I'm just trying to work out that finer edge. And this is that rougher to work out the chips and stuff like that. So I'm going to throw these guys in the water. It's so cool when you throw stones in the water, they start bubbling. So I'm going to start out simple. I'm going to try to make this nice and fast so that way it's a quick, easy upload, quick, easy watch. Get the information out there. So I'm going to show you guys this. I've been carving a spoon, carving a cup, and it has worn down the edge a little bit. I've been primarily carving with this. So, okay. So the easiest way to find your edge, especially like this, it has a tiny little bevel edge instead of the longer, it's got that dip into it. I don't really know the technical terms right now. I know them, but I can't really think of it. I'm just doing this layman's. So this is the simple man's carving. So the knife has this dip down from the spine coming down, and then it has that extra bevel where you actually get your edge. So the easiest way is you take, I don't know how well that's going to come through, but you take the blade, you lay it next to it flat, you see that there's a gap, and then you rotate it until the gap disappears. Just till that line goes away. And then you just take it in circles. Now, you can find that edge. I can do it by feel, so I'm not going to do it by sight every time, but you can take that and do that draw. People like to do that. And on some blades, I like to do that to keep that nice, smooth draw going to it. And I can see where I've worn down parts of the blade that I normally don't. Or unevenly, I should say. I could see where the blade has been worn down unevenly. But I do this by feel. I like to do the circles. Just working a bit at a time sometimes, so that way I can get that nice tight edge to it. You can work, especially with this. I'm going to be sharpening in a second. That can be a kind of a pain because of that deep swath to it. You got to work a little piece at a time. With the redstone, with this knife, I only have to do a little bit on either side. I kind of go until I stop feeling and hearing that bite to it. Then I know this has worn down as much as it's going to. It's got all the edges off that it's going to. And then, for good measure, I'll just run the medium stone up it. When I get to the medium, sometimes I'll start doing this so that way I don't accidentally shave off or wear down a spot on accident. That makes sense. You'd think I'd be a little more worried about the With the heavier grit, I do the small circles, so I only work a little bit at a time. I only work a little bit of a spot at a time, and I can focus on each individual area. When I get to the medium stone, I kind of tend to start doing that slow swipe, just to see if there's any spots of the blade that are uneven. And then, when I get to the smoother stone, I'll do a couple of that, I'll do a couple of the round, and then I'll strop. I mean, I do a variety. Alrighty, we're back. My phone did a stupid thing, and then some kayaker friends rolled through. If you do end up subscribing, ladies, and you end up watching this, it was nice seeing you today. Thanks for subscribing. And sorry I didn't get your names, or I'd give you a shout out. Throw a like, throw a comment, say hi. But back to the stropping. Now that we're on the finer one, you know, I can try to make sure I don't have any rounded edges. Or I can do another feeling it. Now remember, if you don't do it by feel, if you don't have that muscle memory like I do to do it by feel, you gotta line it up, roll it, find the edge. Make sure you don't roll too far or you'll roll the edge and all that, you know. But, so we got that. Running out of space on my phone, so I'm gonna do this quick. But, that's super nice. I don't have a lot of hair, but it is shaving it off. I think it's something to do with being Native American. I don't grow hair. I don't really grow hair all that well. Yeah. Anyway. So the larger blade, same concept. But with this, you know, when I get around to the edge, I actually watch this one because the curve, the way the curve is, I've got to be a little more careful. All the way down to the tip. And what I always do is when I'm going, you start perpendicular, and as you go, what I do is I will rotate it to stay perpendicular with the edge, not necessarily the knife. And what I'll do a lot of times is when I switch sides of the knife, I'll switch sides of the stone. Although doing it left-handed is a little weird. I actually have to move the knife, not the stone. I'm not ambidextrous. That's one problem I think is going to be an issue with me if I ever injure my right hand. Fun little survival fact. If you're ever doing something that has the possibility of risking a limb, risk your non-dominant side. If you're going to risk an injury where it's possibly inevitable, risk the non-dominant side, because you can still accomplish 90% of your tasks with one hand if it's your dominant side that you're used to doing stuff with. Fun little survival tip. Actually, now that I think about it, I usually move the blade. A lot of guys move the stone. I move the blade. I don't know, I can feel the vibration through the knife more than I can feel it through the stone. So when I'm doing it by feel, it's easier for me to do it by moving the blade. You hear how it kind of got that high-pitched sound? That's when I know I'm getting to that nice edge. It starts out almost like a gritty, scrapey sound. You can do it by feel and by sound almost entirely. Once you get good at it. You hear that? It's not very gritty. Hope that comes across. Gritty. High pitch. So the curve is super sharp right now. You see, I could feel the catch on that spot where there was a roll in the blade. If I was using the stone, moving the stone, I wouldn't have felt that. And with this one, I still need to do the circles, even with the stropping blade, but I kind of almost do it backwards. I'm more dragging it than I am pushing it. Nice. Okay, so that was my 3-piece sharpening stones. The coarse, medium, and extra fine. Now, I'm just doing this for demonstration because I can use that 3-piece set on this, but I want to demonstrate the puck. So the puck is kind of the same concept, but what I do is I brace it against my shoulder so that way it doesn't, well, I brace it against my chest somewhere where it's comfy. So that way it doesn't move around too much. I take the puck, find that same line, roll it against it, and this has a nice tight line. There's just some chips. So, and this hatchet is so small I can almost, there's just a slight curve to the actual blade itself that I can almost do the whole entire head just by moving it in a small circle around the puck. With the puck though, you got to be a little more careful because you can roll it so much easier. I don't know why. That's a tendency I've noticed that I've had with it. Try to make sure you do both sides even. And what I'll do is I'll do a bunch on one side, a bunch on the other, and then when I feel like I just about got it, I'll do another couple of swipes. Another couple of swipes. Nice. Then flip over to the medium grit, or the fine grit. And with the puck, it feels a little bit safer because you have more space to handle it. It feels better in the hand. Some of my bigger knives I like to use it on. Oh, damn. So messed up I can actually get this sharper than most of everything else. So there we go. That was a puck demonstration. And it came in a little belt pouch. That was awesome. So, that was sharpening, a sharpening tutorial for your basic knives, your larger blades, and your hatchets. It's what I use. That's the three main pieces that I use for bushcrafting, survival, my EDC for being out in the woods, and carvings. And a little survival tip thrown in there in the middle. Risk your non-dominant side. When there is a risk, obviously try to avoid risks. But until next time, get out there, be a native, and go beast.